Hello everyone, this is Combat PT, aka Captain Pop Rocks, doing this video because I had subscribers asking for aircraft carriers and how they actually work. Well, since I don't have them in Legends as of yet, I'm going to demonstrate how they work and the tactics that are used, at least on the PC. Now remember, this has more bells and whistles than Legends, so there's going to be a lot of information. Even so, this information would be valuable for any commander in Legends, especially since ships are, after all, from the PC edition, though with some tweaks. So, we're going to take a look at a few things. One of the things is that I should mention the armor. If you take a look here, we've got 13 millimeter armor. Now, normally I wouldn't dismiss 13 millimeter armor on a cruiser, but remember, you're a ship the size of a battleship. And also, you're not going to be aiming to be on the ground, you're aiming in the air. Commanding your ship is not a priority, it's usually the aircraft. So remember, stay in the shadows and stay hidden. Also, just to make things more interesting, you have a wooden deck. Most aircraft carriers do have wooden decks, and although that makes a good choice of flooring, the truth of the matter is that you're going to catch on fire quite a bit. And the problem is, if you do catch on fire, that does mean that your aircraft won't be able to land. That is something to keep in mind. So, every aircraft carrier is going to have three types of aircraft. You're going to have your attack aircraft, your torpedo bombers, and your bombers. Each and every one of them will work differently. Now, the aircraft, the attack aircraft, have rockets and they attack ships. Torpedo bombers attack ships. And of course, the bombers attack ships. Notice by chance through all the squadrons I talked about, none of them actually go against other aircraft. And that is because fighter aircraft are taken care of by the AI and are completely autonomous. Artillery. Well, really, you have the best thing equipping airsoft rifles and Nerf guns for the amount of damage they do in protecting you. Courageous aircraft carriers who decides I'm going to use my guns on people. That isn't going to work. Your AA, of course. The most important thing is your concealment. You need to be able to be hidden, and remember that the more higher tiers you go, the larger target you become. With all that covered, let's see how this all plays out on an actual battlefield. Using the same aircraft carrier I demonstrated to you how they work, here I'm flying one squadron of torpedo bombers from its deck. You'll notice the speed to the left, and you'll notice lightly in the middle, kind of a V shape. For torpedo bombers, that's the shape of where the torpedo spread will go. I can avoid the flak. Your planes will not switch from formations, so they're stuck in that position. Cannot change elevation, so here I'm going to level up. Hold the trigger button. Hold it till it goes green. Nice close torp line. Release. Torps in the water, automatic craft pull up. Thread it through that, so with the leftover aircraft I have, I come back around, aim again, hold down the trigger button, click it a nice aim, and release. Automatic pull back up. Torps in the water. Now the last aircraft I have here, I'm going to try and get him clear of the AA, and then hand control over to the AI so I can go back to the aircraft carrier. Now this time I'm going to launch off a rocket squadron. You can see how they attack. Wait until they get in formation here. They're a lot faster. The damage output is a lot smaller. You can see the crosshair in front of you. That is just kind of a gauge of where to go. I'm going to move also my CV in the back. That's automatic. You can take command of your CV, but you cannot be piloting aircraft at the same time, so unless you tell them to land. So I'm going to try and avoid the flak, get this right over the ship, hold down the trigger button, a couple of my aircraft will come in, release, they pull back, try and avoid all the flak, which is really difficult. Yeah. Let me see, I've got some aircraft which are probably not going to be coming back. Okay, I'm going to turn back over here. Let's see. This guy looks pretty damaged. You know what? I'm probably going to focus on because he's got so many attacking. I'm going to focus on the ship I was attacking earlier. I'm going to have to fly past his flak. Or get some damaged aircraft. And I should mention that the big thing you have to remember as a carrier commander is that your squadrons can be destroyed. And you start losing more and more aircraft, they don't come back. They don't respawn. So you can run out to You may run out. Nice hit. Pull back. I'm going to go back to the carrier. You can run out of squadrons, and if you run out of squadrons, you have nothing to attack with. Again, what you have to remember is that your torpedo bombers are going to be your go-to. These squadrons, they're able to attack your battleships, your cruisers, and if you're lucky, your destroyers, and in the future, carriers. And the thing is about them, these are your heavy hitters, and you want to protect them. You're going to have only so many of them. And the one thing that's advantage about them is they can attack at a certain range, a long range away from AA. You just got to have some precision with it. Unlike your rockets and bombers, which have to get close range, they have to be almost pinpoint onto the enemy ship. The fact is, those guys take a lot of damage before they get damage onto the enemy. Here, you have torpedo bombers, you may be able to get a hit off without losing a squadron. So here I'm going into an attack, and once you go into attack, you can't get out of the attack unless you release the attack button. So let's see if we get around here. I believe... Is this a... I think that's a New York. I'm not too sure. Taking a few hits there. I didn't drop any torpedoes off. There was no way I was going to reach in range. I'm going to try back for another attack pattern. You can already see one of my aircraft is slightly damaged. You can see on the scale below where it's all green, 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 and an orange. That tells me that one of my aircraft is damaged. Once it turns red, it's really severe damage, and once it's black, it's gone. So I'm going to go into an attack. Two of my bombers are going to attack. The rest are going to hover above or fly back. We'll launch an attack, launch 2 torpedoes. The rest of the squadron teams back up. Nice hit. 2, perfect. If I get damaged aircraft back to the carrier, they actually repair. Sometimes it's not always possible to do that. This flak. What I want to do is get them far away from the flak and then hand it back over to the AI so I can go back to my aircraft carrier and take a new squadron. You can see the squadron is just by the bar below. You can see it's not a full squadron, and that mainly is from losing aircraft in the last few attacks with torpedo bombers. The 2 squadrons which are returning, if I had waited, they would actually replenish the squadron. I'm trying to speed up here. Your torpedo bombers are quite slow, so you're not going to get very fast very far. I want to get hit by his AA, so that's the one thing about torpedo bombers. I'm going to try and attack from a distance, so I do not get hit by his AA. Doesn't mean that it's going to be 100% clear of being hit by AA, but I need to get these squadrons not to take damage as much. The orange means it's going to be inert torpedo. Green zone means it's going to be active. You won't have to worry about that in Legends, no doubt. Okay. 2 hits, perfect. I'm going to launch a attack aircraft here in a second. There we go. Attack aircraft just automatically pops where the squadron was at, hovers around or flies around in a circle. It attacks scouting aircraft and sometimes, hopefully, distracts the enemy's AA. Now for the fun part. Decide that I'm going to launch with a bombing squadron. Now, like the rocket squadron, it has the target receptacle that look exactly the same, except it's a lot closer to the formation. I'm speeding up right here, so it looks like it's further out, but once I slow down, it'll actually pull back to the aircraft themselves, almost to the center of it. The problem is here now you've got to fly right into the flag. Precision bombing at its best. You got to hold the trigger when you feel right, hold it. 2 aircraft will attack, and at least with this aircraft carrier, we release. Nice citadel hit. But you can see I've taken damage. I've lost at least 2 aircraft, and a third one's badly about their damage, pretty bad. What I do need to also mention is that the higher tier aircraft carriers you do go into, when you do an attack run, you'll have more aircraft into the attack run. It won't be just 2 aircraft, it'll be 4. You know, it can go up to maximum of 4. Go again. Try and speed up a bit. Watch out for the flak. Hold down the trigger. If you miss or overshoot or undershoot, you can adjust a little bit to try and fix the problem. Release. Before the timer runs out, hit. Perfect. Back to the aircraft carrier. I'm going to speed, get full, the engines to go full, and I'm going to start steering. As I'm doing that, I'm also going to give a command for it to go to that direction to speed up. So now the AI will take care of the aircraft carrier. I'll go back into the what I have left of my torpedo bombers. Now you can see it's now a refreshed complete squadron. So the aircraft that have returned replenished a full squadron. But as I said, I'm almost out of squadrons. So if these guys take too much damage, then I lose them completely. But from the looks of it, I may not be able to get there in time. Yeah, looks like I may not be able to get to this guy in time. Yep. Oh, they got him. They've got him. Well, that's how you fight with aircraft carriers. The fact is, just use those tactics. You should be fine. Remember that your torpedo bombers are the most important. Your bombers are probably your second most important. The attack aircraft, the rocket aircraft are good, but as I said, the damage is quite light. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad at all. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, wasn't that complete. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So I hope that my little tutorial video for all of you helps you out. Those who are interested in aircraft carriers get a chance, hopefully, when Legend